This is Kyle. He fell in love with Tiffany.
The biggest presumption about our relationship is that we are a lesbian couple.
So I started facing criticism on social media pretty much as soon as I started vocalizing that I was trans. This one says, "Calm down, young lady. You're mentally ill. Sicko. What a freak show of a woman you are."
Today, Tiffany's friend will be revealing her thoughts on the relationship.
So what was your first initial thoughts whenever I told you I was dating a trans man?
I do feel like we kind of bumped heads a little bit.
Yeah, we didn't really get along in the beginning.
My name is Kyle, and this is my partner, Tiffany. People tell us that we are in a lesbian relationship, but they are wrong.
Scrambled eggs?
Yes, please.
We met on TikTok, and that's where Kyle shares his journey as a trans man. So I got to see that before even reaching out to him.
It started as a really good friendship. From there, we just continued to talk, and one thing went to the next.
Hunter is my 8-year-old son, and I introduced him to Kyle when he was only 3 years old, and they have had a pretty strong bond ever since, pretty much inseparable.
I think for me, that was a big step that kind of shifted it from friend to relationship.
We made things official in March of 2021.
So I started transitioning about 9.5 years ago. I always knew that something was different about me as early as 6 or 7 years old. I just didn't really have a word to coin. Like, I didn't know what exactly it was I was feeling. It wasn't until about 10th grade, I actually had a friend who was transgender. And when he told me that that was his identity, I went on YouTube and saw like coming out videos and transition videos. And I was like, oh wow, like this is how I feel. But I knew I didn't want to transition in high school because I just didn't know how people were going to react to it. I was about 21 is when I first started taking testosterone injections. Now it's been about 9.5 years that I've been on testosterone. Growing up as a girl, I tried to just make it a point to look as girly as I could if it was possible. But I always felt like awkward all the way down to like my stance. Like you could just tell I'm not comfortable at all. And I would just try and blend by wearing like stereotypical girl colors, which would be pink, and dresses. So this picture was my prom picture. I was in 11th grade at the time. This was the turning point in my life where I knew that I was very different and that I was transgender, but no one knew yet. So because I felt like people were starting to realize it, I went out of my way to find like the most stereotypical girly dress that I could, which was pink with a bunch of bedazzle and just a lot of sparkle. Top surgery was actually my first ever surgery for anything. And like I have no regrets on it, and I'm very happy with where I'm at. But I'm not too sure if I will have any more procedures. As of right now, I'm just content with just who I am.
Kyle actually is the first trans person that I've ever dated. So I came out as bisexual when I was 18, but I was still trying to figure out my sexuality because I was focusing more on personality rather than sexuality. I think I came out as pansexual about 5 or 6 years ago. So a lot of people have a presumption that we are in a lesbian relationship, but it just doesn't make sense to me when people say things like that, because if you look at us, I mean, just walking down the street, you would not.
No one bats an eye.
No one bats an eye, and nobody really thinks twice about it until you get to know Kyle's story.
So I started facing criticism on social media pretty much as soon as I started vocalizing that I was trans. The second I put it on the internet, that's when a lot of like the hate comments came in regards to me not being a real man, or a lot of people with very strong religious opinions. The first comment I have here says, "You're a woman," and then it has a racial slur after that. This one says, "Calm down, young lady. Sicko. What a freak show of a woman you are. You're mentally ill. Don't expect everyone to cater to your delusion."
If somebody really was mentally ill, wouldn't you cater to that? You would treat them with respect. Why is it different here?
A lot of times people get caught up with what they're saying and they don't even make sense. This one, "You still a lesbian," referring to me and her because we're in a relationship, and that's how people tend to see us.
We have a lot of judgment on the interracial aspect of Hunter and Kyle. but then also the fact that Kyle is a trans man raising Hunter as a father figure.
A lot of people will say you're not a real father. This boy's gonna grow up and be confused, and every child needs a biological male and a biological female to kind of be raised properly. You will never be that boy's dad, young lady. They used to get to me in the beginning, but now I've been doing this for so long, like creating content, it doesn't really affect me anymore because now it's just kind of redundant.
We don't give it the attention that people think we do. I think it's more of something we can laugh at together. We're gonna talk to my friend Kimberly. I think she's gonna have some opinions to say about how she felt when we first started talking and how she felt when we told her that you were transgender. Hi, babe. Hey. So we just had a couple questions for you. So what was your first initial thoughts whenever I told you I was dating Kyle and that he was a trans man?
Yeah, we didn't really get along in the beginning.
I do feel like we kind of like bumped heads a little bit.
I really think it was because our personalities clashed at first, but Tiffany told me she was happy, and the more I got to know you, the better things went.
So did you hear any kind of negative comments from any of our mutual friends whenever I started dating Kyle?
No, I didn't. I had a couple of people ask me about your relationship with Kyle, but I just said that it wasn't my business. It wasn't my place to tell.
Now that you know Kyle and now that you've gotten to know his personality, what do you think?
I like Kyle. I think he's great. You guys seem to really have a good relationship going. It's the best relationship you've been in that I've seen. So I like him. And I don't know, you seem brighter, you seem happier.
So right now we're actually heading down to the park to play some catch and ride some skateboards.
Knowing Kyle has given me a peace that I didn't have before, kind of fulfilled an empty spot in my heart.
Her being a single mother when she first came into my life, just the way that she understands sometimes you do have to figure things out on your own, but she always finds a way to make it happen. And she helped me learn to have those same type of traits. So I think that's what I definitely love about her the most. Honestly, the people that judge our relationship, I would just say, at the end of the day, what do you see? You see a happy family doing things that a lot of people do, like we're not here hurting anyone.
You know, our relationship isn't solely focused on the fact that Kyle is a trans man. It's more of staying happy, staying healthy, being successful in the future, and those are the key points of our relationship.